For me, I prefer Canggu because more of the co-working spaces were there, and plus I made connections and all of my friends are there, so it just makes sense for me to stay there.
Meet Mitch, a creative content strategist from Tajikistan who has spent the last 3 years living in Bali. She shares what makes a modern brand successful, offers tips for starting a YouTube channel, and explains why Bali is the perfect place for creatives. So if you're curious about the world of content strategy and why Bali is a top destination for remote workers, you're in the right place. I'm Jonatan, a Swedish software engineer based in Thailand. Let's dive in.
What I basically do is I help companies with their content strategy, which also includes social media, which also includes like email marketing. Yeah, basically working with tech companies who are a bit more techy or even serious, or some might say boring. And I just help them to come up with the content that resonates with their audiences, that helps them at the same time basically bring awareness to their brand, but also make sales. So that's what I specialize in.
That's very cool. So it's quite creative work?
Yes, because at first when I started with some industries, it's like, oh my God, what is this? Like, it sounds technical and I actually have to take some time to learn about the industry. And then I'm like, okay, now I understand how to like make it more creative, how to make it more human, how to make it more authentic, and put those storytelling techniques so that it resonates with the audience. Because at the end of the day, you never, let's say, go to McDonald's because you want a burger, you go to McDonald's because you want to be happy, right? That's the idea of McDonald's. So every brand has this strategy. They don't necessarily sell the product, they sell either the experience, either the emotions. So that's what I basically help brands to bring out of the brand.
That's really cool. Yeah. How did you learn this craft, like storytelling and all of these things?
To be honest, I would say it's a bit natural in me. I've always been creative. I always was into writing, into just... that's something natural, but of course you still need to learn a lot of techniques. And I think what really helps me is I'm always on top of trends. I always like to read different case studies of different companies, and also working in marketing has taught me a lot, working in different tech startups, and working with people who are a bit more senior than me and learning from them. And also working in marketing, you always need to be on top of trends and podcasts, listen to podcasts and learn basically.
Right, it's a continuous learning,
of course, because digital marketing always changes, doesn't stand.
There's new trends coming.
Yes, things that were relevant 5 years ago are not relevant now. Right now it's a short form content, it's videos, short form videos, TikTok, and so many brands are switching there, so it's always being on top of that.
Right, but the core themes still remain, this kind of storytelling arc or whatever we learned about and stuff.
Yeah. So, but at the trends come and go, but at the end of the day, your product is always about the story. It's about your who are your ideal customers. It's about the desires of ideal customers, and what is your value point. That always remains the same. It's how you deliver it, basically.
Just different new mediums, basically.
Yes, you just deliver it in a different medium.
That's so interesting, right? What clients do you work with normally?
So I work with tech clients. I also work with some agency owners. Let's say they need maybe personal branding, because that's also a big trend right now happening, because there's a thing among marketers that people don't buy from brands, they buy from people. So that's also something happening right now. I'm helping basically with personal branding, also helping with just brand driven content. So
very interesting. But it's mostly companies, or is it also influencers?
No, I haven't worked with creators or influencers yet. Mostly just established companies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for people that want to start a YouTube channel? What they should think about?
Yes. I guess just be natural, because I saw you being worried and be like, oh, let's start over again. If you make mistakes, that's fine, if you just mispronounce something and be like, laugh it off and continue.
Yeah.
Because that's what authenticity is about. We've discussed about it. It's also try to also work with some algorithm games. Very important, to know the algorithm rules of YouTube. That's a bit more technical part. On a non-technical part, try to always find your own style as well, because I feel doing YouTube really opens you up as a person. You start realizing your uniqueness and what draws people to you. So it's a beautiful journey, and it opens you up from a different angle, right?
Yeah, definitely. Bali seems like such a cool place. What's it actually like to live in Bali 2024?
It's truly a paradise because the lifestyle, like you get to work, you go to have a breakfast at a beautiful cafe, like, you know, that always has discounts, like, you know, on specific days, and like then you go for like to work out, right? And it's all very convenient. Then you have a laundry, then you go like, you know, to co-working spaces and like connect with other people, and then yeah, it's basically, it's a very convenient place. And like I come from, like my city is relatively small, Dushanbe, where I come from. I think that could have been convenient, but my friends from Europe, they share that it's not as easy and convenient in Europe, because if you want to go to gym, you have to drive like through metro, whatever, or like go for paddle, it's like so far. But in Bali, it's like everything, you just drive your scooter and it's all within the reach.
That sounds very nice.
That's a paradise.
So you can be very productive there, like.
Yeah. I mean, I personally can be productive. I've heard some people saying that it's too laid back for them, they can't focus, but I think it depends. Like for me, I just always try to see positive in everything. And
okay. So you would say it's a good place for an entrepreneur or digital nomad that want to set up a life?
Yes. Yeah, I would say that, you know, there's a huge hub. Of course, like Bali is also suffering from a lot of tourism, so it's also very important to respect locals and to, like, you know, to contribute in a good way, to give back to Bali. But generally, yeah, it's a welcoming island.
Do you have to drive a scooter everywhere, or can you actually walk?
I think it's better to actually drive, because if I see some tourists walking and I'm just laughing at them, like, like, you guys, you don't know, like, what are you getting yourself into? Because the roads are like small, and it's so convenient to use a bike, honestly.
So what's it like to be a content creator in Bali?
As a creative person, what stimulates my creativity is having an amazing work and life balance, which Bali gives me. Being able to go to gym on time, me being able to also, you know, meet my friends, like for like Friday evening, and just, you know, being surrounded by people who are also entrepreneurial. That definitely stimulates my creativity and drive and my ambition.
It seems like a hotspot.
Yeah.
For those kind of people.
Yeah, for sure.
So if I want to go to Bali as an entrepreneur, do you have any recommendations on places?
I think if you want to be on a more work mode, stay like places around Canggu, Borawa, like it could be like extended. Uluwatu is also the place, but it's way chilled for me. Ubud is a bit more spiritual. It does help me sometimes when I just want to lock myself in my room and just have a beautiful rice field view, just to focus and not socialize with anyone. But it's a bit more meditation, yoga. I think, to be honest, I could not tell you, because it depends on your preferences. Because some people say, oh, I really feel connection with like Uluwatu, I'm just gonna stay here. For me, I prefer Canggu because more of the co-working spaces were there, and plus I made connections and all of my friends are there, so it just makes sense for me to stay there. And you can always, you know, have staycations in different areas. Like,
do you have any like advice for people that want to run a location independent business like yourself?
Follow your passion. I think to run a location-dependent business requires you to, you know, do something that you're good at, that you love doing, and, you know, that also brings you income. So that's the way. It's a great balance that also makes you happy and fulfilled.
Find the sweet spot between your passion and what can generate income.
Also, I will not sugarcoat. There could be, like, you know, some failures along the way. Like I've also myself had, like, I had e-commerce that didn't work out, but it was a journey. You know, one thing always leads to another. So many entrepreneurs I talk to, they always started with something that didn't work out and then they switched to another thing. So just don't let it be the end of the world. Just keep moving forward.
Thank you so much for joining today. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing for more, and have a wonderful day. Hokan Mai.